What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are on the test server here, and we will be playtesting the upcoming login champion, the alien Xenomorph. Now, I'm pretty excited to actually try out this champion. He looks really solid, especially for new accounts. Now, in this showcase here, we're just going to take him in our best gear, in our best setup, and then we're going to see exactly what he can do, what cool things he can actually accomplish in raids. So here we go. We got the alien Xenomorph here, guys, looking real cool. He's actually quite tall. He's actually off the screen and all that. I love the movement of his tail. It seems to move in a kind of random way. I don't know. But yeah, it looks way more alive than some of the other avatars that we run into anyways. But let's check out his base kit here and his base stats. So you got 1365 attack. He's an attack-based damage dealer. He's not crazy with the attack. So just something to keep in mind. His A1 here is actually very impressive. If it crits, it lands 3 poisons, which is amazing. He also doesn't require books for this, which is again amazing. He does place Perfect Veil on himself as well for 2 turns. It's just an insane A1. Honestly, it's an insane A1 for basically any content where poisons can be useful. His A2 also is very interesting as well. It's a 3-turn cooldown. He's got 30% damage from books. The single target hit with a stun and an infest debuff. If he's under Veil, it cannot be resisted, but I think for him, he probably still needs a bit of accuracy in his kit just to land all his stuff consistently. Places a True Fear debuff on all other enemies for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be resisted if he's under Veil. Revives his champion with 50% HP and 50% turn meter whenever an enemy under Infest debuff dies. Now, this is kind of a strange thing. It would have been interesting if it popped out maybe like another alien, but the fact that he has to be dead and then he has a chance to come back, I think it's a little bit on the weak side, but it's still a pretty cool passive regardless. Now, Infest is a brand new debuff. It's just going to be specific to the Xenomorph alien. And let's talk about it here for a second. So whenever an enemy dies under Infest, it deals pure damage to all other alive enemies. This pure damage is equal to 50% of the enemy's max HP who died while under the Infest debuff. This damage cannot be critical. The pure damage dealt upon killing a boss or their minions cannot exceed more than 10% of their max HP. Now, yeah, this could be a really big hit because some of the PvE mobs are quite high HP. But I wouldn't say it's like a busted debuff or anything like that. It's definitely very cool, very thematic for the Xenomorph. And then we got an A3 here. It's going to be called Ripman Claw, 4-turn cooldown, 3 turns when fully booked with 30% damage. Very nice. It's a double hit on a single target. It deals 15% more damage for each poison debuff on the target. Also places Perfect Veil on himself. So he has A1 to put Perfect Veil on himself, A2, 3 to put Perfect Veil on himself, and then his A2 benefits from the Perfect Veil, which is really nice. Now this one has I'm just going to check the multipliers here real quick. So courtesy of Hell Hades website, we have the multipliers here already. So the A3 has a godlike breakdown, godlike rating here. The big thing here is to apply, multiple poisons. If you get multiple poisons out, it's actually quite a big boost. 3.1 on a double hit is a 6.2, which is generally for me, like a single target hit, like it has to be around at least 6 to deal like decent damage. So it's a 6.2, and it also has a poison multiplier as well. So if you can add, for example, I don't know, let's say the maximum 10 poisons, that's going to add an extra 1.5 per hit. So that's going to be a 4.6 per hit twice, which is pretty wild. So at its base, without any poison, it's already decent. So with additional poison counter, it's going to be nuts. So the A3 can hit quite hard. The A2 seems to hit pretty decent as well, 5.9 multiplier over attack. The problem with the Xenomorph is that his attack is low. As we mentioned, it's only 1365, so it's quite low. So these multipliers need to be on the higher side for him to deal more damage, basically. So all makes sense. It's had to be balanced out and all that. And his passive here, Caustic Blood, whenever this champion is attacked, has a 25%, 50% when fully booked of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if their attack is critical. PvE content, their critical rate is quite low. I believe it's like 15%, so it's not going to get poisons all the time. If an enemy is under poison, debuff placed by this champion decrease their defense by 20%. Now that's a really, really nice damage multiplier for your whole team. So he is a kind of team damage boosting enabler as well. 20% decreased defense is basically like a cruel set, or sorry, not cruel blessing on him, which is really nice for your whole team. So really, really nice damage enabler. Now I'm going to gear him out in some end game gear, and then we'll see what he can do in some content. First, we will give him the 5-star blessing because he is going to be a free champion, and we can get his 5-star soul basically just for him doing small tasks in the game over a period of time. So definitely go for his 5-star blessing, guys. Make sure you guys get that, especially if you guys are new as well. Heavily benefits the Xenomorph. He requires accuracy in his kit if you are not under veil and all that. So let's do that. He only requires 9 books as well, which is quite reasonable. However, his A1 works without any books if you just need him for poison. So keep that in mind as well. Let's jump into it. So we got the Xenomorph here, and this is the build I got him in. Stone Skin and Lethal. We will be taking him into the arena to see what he can do. Now, if you're not going to use him for arena, then you're not going to use him in Stone Skin, so keep that in mind as well. But for this video, we're going to have to showcase him basically with just damage here. We got him in, Stone Skin and Lethal. So he's got some ignore defense, so his hits can be higher damage. And then he has an attack, 5.2k attack. Not crazy or anything like that. And 295 speed, good speed. Okay crit damage and okay accuracy. We will activate his blessing here. Now for blessing choice, there's a couple ways you can, select for him. If you want to use him for arena, I mean, Lightning Cage, always a popular choice right now. The other one that might actually make sense for him is actually Nature's Wrath. Nature's Wrath would be very good in prolonged fights, so against bosses, for example, because it gives him the time to basically stack up all these damage stacks with his poison debuffs. You could even use Lethal Dose in arena as well. So he has definitely some viable options here. I think for us, the general purpose one might be Nature's Wrath because we are going to be using him in PvE and PvP content. So let's try Nature's Wrath here. I think it's quite good. If you're brand new to the game and then you just have kind of bad gear on him, Brimstone makes a lot of sense as well, just because Brimstone will give you that extra boss damage that you will need to progress. But for us, let's take Nature's Wrath here. And then we'll go from there. We get a little bit of a stat boost, which is nice. So 5.9k attack, 295 speed, 295 crit damage, and 300 accuracy. I kind of like these stat points here. Not too crazy high on the accuracy, focusing more on the speed, crit damage, and attack, which you need for a damage dealer. Just for, general purposes, we're not going to apply a relic here. You can definitely just give him a damage dealing relic, which would be nice. The poison relic for him is actually pretty interesting. Let's grab one real quick. And we have a quick conversation about this. So the Iraq elixir here. So you got the wearer's poison debuffs deals bonus damage equal to 50% of the attacks of the wearer's attack. So bonus damage goes up. This one could actually just be generally very strong on him. I mean, as a, rare relic, it's not going to be super hard to get. It does come from Faction Wars hard mode, so that might not be accessible to everybody, but that's going to be a pretty strong one for him considering the amount of poisons he lands. But I think for this test we're just going to leave the relics out of it. It's just a little bit of extra RNG. In terms of overall masteries here, we did take the Helm Smasher mastery, took a little bit of healing. Lasting gifts for the extension on the veil, I think is quite important. And then of course Master Hexer is going to get tons of value on this guy with all the debuff extensions, so we definitely want that as well. This one's going to be pretty nice as well for the turn meter chance since he lands so many debuffs. All right, let's bring him into some content and see what he can do. All right, guys, we're going to pop in here with Carnage. Carnage actually works quite well with Xenomorph. Carnage is another free champion that we can get in this game from the Cursed City. It's not easy to get him. It takes a long time, but eventually you get him and he's amazing. So his passive here, he gives us a chance to debuff spread, which is actually really, really cool. So it works really well with the Xenomorph. Let's bring these two in. Let's see exactly what we can do. All right, so we got the Xenomorph here. Let's start off with the Infest. All right, let's check out the Infest here on 1x speed. Let's target the Laburga here, Laburga. And we got the single speed fear on everybody, which is super nice. And then we got a hit, the stun happen, and then we got the Infest here. So let's see if we can spread that Infest. That would be pretty cool. All right, go get them. And we do. There we go. We got the Infest out on everybody, which is super nice. Now this is an interesting spot because if we use his A3, it's not going to get a damage boost because there's no poisons out. Let's go with his A1. Let's see what his A1 can do. It's going to place Veil on himself as well, which is awesome. Triple hit. I mean, triple poisons landed. Super nice. And yeah, we can go for the spread again, which is really good. Let's go for the spread again, and we're spreading the poisons out. Everybody gets ticked off. And here we go. We got the A3. Let's see what we can do. We got 3 poisons out on the Laburga. Let's see what we can do for the damage hit here. Hit. 104k over 2 hits. There's 3 poisons out. Nothing too crazy, to be honest. That's nothing too crazy. No decreased defense, no increased attack, so there's definitely room to grow, but on a single target hit, it's not too crazy. And yeah, let's check out the carnage here. We're gonna kill the enemy, and then we're gonna spread all his stuff as well, probably. Nope, we didn't spread anything, unfortunately. Oh, more spreading's happening. The poisons are out. And let's just kill this guy off. All right, so the infest ticked off. Oh, and we weren't able to kill anybody. Let's see. Infest ticked off there. Infest ticked off there. Infest. That's so cool. That is so cool. Did you see that? It's kind of like a cascading damage effect. And then we saw each hit was like 150, 160k. So even though the initial hit is not, let's try again. The initial hit is not crazy. 52,000 on the A2. The initial hit is not crazy. But the infest explosion is quite crazy, actually. Try again. Only 2 poisons landed this time. All right, we have the A3 back. Let's try again. And nope, weren't able to kill. Not super strong, or at least my build is not super strong here. Let's swap before I die. Infest again. I like that cascading. That cascading is actually pretty fun. Let's see what else we can do here. There we go. We spread the infest to everybody. Super sweet. And now we're gonna rip and claw. There we go. Doing a little bit more damage there because there was more poisons out. And that's gonna be it. All right, sweet. That's pretty fun. I don't think we're gonna do very well against the dragon here. I think against the dragon we're just gonna have to use the A1 over and over again. Yeah, we're definitely not the right build for the dragon. So all right, I'm curious what this would do against many little minions. So let's check this out against the spider here. Obviously lots of little spiderlings and stuff. I think the spiderlings have pretty low HP, so there's not going to deal a lot of damage here. So let's check out the infest here on this one guy. We're going to try to spread it on everybody. Okay, there it worked. And big hit here. I guess it hit the big spider for about 147 each. But the big spider healed for like, I don't know, 4 million heal. So this strategy is not going to work here like this. But it's cool to know that, he's not taking that much damage, to be honest. Something else I wanted to test out a little bit here is whether the infest damage would be increased by decreased defense and weaken. Let's check that out here. So we can see that we have decreased defense here applied to the Laburga. Let's see. So infest is out on everybody. Infest was doing about 150k per hit. So here's 250k, 200k. So definitely decreased defense and weaken is going to do more damage for the infest damage. You can kind of see here this, I forgot what her name, this champion on the far left actually doesn't have weaken applied, and she was getting 200,000 damage from the infest damage. But the Chagar and the Venus on this other side was taking 250,000 damage, and they have decreased defense and weaken. So if you can apply decreased defense and weaken, then the infest damage is definitely going to do more, which is good. That's good to know. All right, guys, let's bring him into the arena and see what he can do with this build. Like I said, lethal and stone skin here. It's perfect for PvP. And we're just going to use him in some generic speed team here. We get the Arbiter boost for the plus attack, which is going to help him out as well. Like I said, his base attack's quite low. We got the lockout here and then the speed boosters. Hopefully we'll get a turn here against Hell Hades' team. let's see what we can do here. All right. So we got the boost. Boost again, plus attack here, and then let's lock them out. And we got a weak hit here on this side. Let's petrify the warlord. Okay, let's drop the infest on. Let's see what we can do against Sifi. I assume Sifi is the most tanky champion, so let's see what we can do there. Unfortunately, we don't have Veil up, which is a bit of a problem. So that means the accuracy check is needed. Let's see what we can do here. 1 time speed and face hugger, 114k damage. That's pretty significant, and a 33k splash. From the infest, which is really, really nice. So obviously the plus attack here, I think, helps quite a bit. Just to boost the damage of that initial hit, and then that's pretty nice. If you can kill somebody right away, you get the splash damage right away as well. At Sifi, I mean, about 70k HP, so nothing too crazy. Definitely could be, there's fatter Sifis out there. But the higher the HP of the enemy that you killed with the infest, the more damage you're going to deal, which is pretty sweet. Let's see what else we can do here. Sifi came back, still under fear. So we don't have Veil or anything like that. This guy doesn't have poisons. Let's try to land. Let's see what the A1 can do in terms of poisons. And hit. Wow, 62,000 on one hit. That's pretty... That seems kind of absurd. That seems kind of wild. Let's see what else we can do. Okay, plus attack again. Here we go. Infest again. Let's infest the Sifi again. And pop. 32k here. It looks like the Warlord took 41k from the infest. I wonder why. Was there a damage multiplier there with something? Don't remember. I don't recall. There we go. Not too bad. Honestly, it showed that the A2 can't actually deal a little bit of work. All right, let's hop into this team here. We're going to sub out Sifi for Sulfurion just to help against the Gizmat here. And let's see what we're going to be up against. Okay, we get to go first. That's kind of nice. Plus attack applied. Let's see if we can strip some of the stone skin. We can on some. Burn it off. There we go. Burned it off. Okay, so we got the A2 again, this time with plus attack. Let's see which one we want to target. Can we kill? Let's target the Narcissus. I'm kind of optimistic. Maybe we can try Ancora. Let's try Ancora here. She looks like the tankiest one. So let's try Ancora with the A2. And the face hugger. Oh, just a little bit shy of the damage there. We do have a little bit of accuracy, so the fears are going on. Not too bad. Looks like the fear protected looks like Ancora protected Gizmat from the fear. All right, this looks like a disaster now. Everybody's gonna die. Boom. Okay, so we couldn't kill the Ancora with the A2 hit. Let's try somebody else for another big hit here. Okay, jumping in here. All right, so plus attack, and then let's see if we can strip off stone skin. Okay, we can't. Burn it off. Okay, we do. All right, let's try the A2 again. So A2, big hit on Narcissus and plus attack, 132k hit, and then 50% damage spread across the rest of the team. That's really, really cool. Let's see if we can get back here. Get a turn back? Nope, probably not. I think we're probably dead here. Yep. pretty nuts. So we weren't able to kill the Gizmat. We killed the Narcissus. Let's try to go after the Gizmat this time. Okay, let's try one more time here. Not sure what happened. Oh, the auto happened. Sorry, let's try again. All right, going back in. Turn off the auto. Again, come on. Burn. Okay, and then let's try to kill Gizmat here with the A2. Boom, 84k hit. Couldn't quite take everybody out. Can't stop the Ancora, unfortunately. Oh, he goes for the revive. Weak hit. Nice. Gotta love it. Yeah, so the alien will also suffer from weak hits as well. Just being magic affinity and all that. So Unfortunately, we weren't able to kill or stop this team with the fears and stuff. Ancor is really good against the fears, obviously. And then Mythical can't be locked out. But at least we can show that the A2 actually hits pretty hard. And I think the overall gear on my Xenomorph is not like crazy insane or anything. Like we just have 6k attack, 300 crit damage with lethal gear. I mean, it's good, but it's not insane. Let's try against this team. Let's see what we can do here. Magic Affinity is going to suck against the Empress here. But let's see how we do against Rhodos. I think the Infest counts as a double hit just from the damage. So let's see where it goes here. Lock out. Okay. All right, let's try the A2 against Rhodos here. So I think the first hit... Actually, the first hit won't kill Rhodos. So let's go after Sifi here. Let's see how it works against Sifi and then the Infest against Rhodos. There we go. 66k only. That actually surprisingly did not hit that well. I'm actually a little bit surprised at how that hit. Only 66k. Where is the Infest debuff? Did the Infest debuff not land? That might be an issue here as well. Let's see. Let's try again. We only have about 300 accuracy on our Xenomorph. So that's a little bit of a problem here for the setup for Arena. And then we get sheeped. All right, back at it. Let's try again. Stone skin is not stripped off. No sheep this time. Okay. Okay. Try to kill. Let's kill somebody. Let's kill the Fabian. Pop 116 against the Fabian. Infest. That's a pretty big hit. The Infest didn't trigger Rhodos, which is actually interesting. The Infest didn't trigger Rhodos. I like that. I probably petrified the wrong guy. Okay, so double hit. Try the A1. Nope. Only 10k hit. It was a weak hit though, but looks like we're doing okay. As long as we can get the Infest to pop off, it looks like it's alright. So A1 here. Let's go. Let's test it out. 60k on the A1. I mean, it seems okay sometimes, but obviously the weak hit was not that great. 60k hit with just the A1 on that Sifi. Try again. I feel like the A2 on that Sifi was a bit underwhelming. Try again. All right, A2 again on the Sifi, and there we go. 98k. I think Helm Smasher proc probably that time. And yeah, what a hit. What a hit. I mean, how did that Rhodos die? Rhodos died just from Infest, or that seemed like a little bit of an interesting interaction here. Rhodos is passive, didn't trigger, right? I guess it's an on-hit trigger, so I guess it doesn't give him that extra turn opportunity. But it's a pretty interesting interaction. You don't see too often here. Rhodos dying from damage. Try again, the A2. Yeah, yeah. Rhodos just straight up died. Very cool interaction there, actually. So cool. All right, the next area I want to test them in for this kind of build. Obviously, we're still using the same build. It does have ignore defense in it, so he's going to hit pretty decent. We're going to try him in Hydra to see what kind of damage he can do, or at least how his playtests work, and then we will just do a couple auto battles to see what his overall damage is. He's in here against Mishnaki and Crowcad, which is, pretty insane strong damage dealers or Hydra specific damage dealers. So I don't expect him to be like absolutely insane here, obviously. But we do have a pretty good team with him. We have Duchess for Veil and plus attack. So he's going to be under Veil and plus attack basically the entire run. So let's test out his A2 against this, let's see, Head of Decay here. He doesn't require accuracy to land any of this stuff anymore, which is really cool. He also has a couple poisons landed from his A1, so he's going to get a bit of bonus on his A3 here as well. Let's see if we can land the Infest, and yeah, let's see what happens, how that interaction goes. It does actually land the Infest here. I'm not too sure how it's going to work. I'm not too sure how it's going to work. Does it blow up when the head blows up? That would be my first question. Let's see what we can do. Let's just play through here a little bit. Crowcat's going to come in and do some beastly stuff. Okay. Nice. Okay, so I'm not gonna use the A3 yet just because of the poisons and stuff. Let's attack this one. Okay, we gotta land the infest again, unfortunately. All right, let's play through a little bit here. It's a pretty, it's a good team. Good team. Um, X on everybody. Just gonna throw away some of these attacks. We gotta get back to the infest, unfortunately. Okay, Rip and Claw. How's Rip and Claw gonna work? Let's see, actually, we can Rip and Claw. Okay, so that's 200k. Nothing crazy. To be honest, nothing's crazy for a single target hit on Hydra, especially when you're like boosted up as well. No decreased defense or anything here. Uh, let's see. Still looking for that infest. Still looking for that infest. Let's infest. Let's try to infest this fat head here. There we go. Fat head got infested. He died. Okay, we gotta bring him back. Oh, this would be interesting. If we can actually bring the Xenomorph back from killing the Wrath head, that would be interesting. Let's try. We got plus attack here. Let's ally attack in. Our goal is to kill this fat head. Come on. Right there. Ah, darn it. That sucks. I guess we can still really want to test that out, actually. I don't think it applies because usually on-kill effects do not apply to Hydra, for example. Maybe we can kill ourselves off. Yes, there we go. Okay, we killed ourselves off. We have the Crocad. Infest is applied. Let's see if we can bring our guy back, just for fun. And we don't. On-kill effects on Hydra don't do anything. And I don't think there was any splash damage there from the infest as well. I didn't see it. But maybe something did happen. I didn't see it though. Kind of interesting. I mean, most of his damage is going to come from his poisons, and then he's going to enable the rest of your team to do quite a bit of damage as well. So let's jump out of here. Let's do a couple quick bows and see what he can pump out over a long period of time. I don't expect him to have insane damage here. Most of his damage will be from his A1, so about 50 million damage. Shayak here with 33 million, that's going to come from his Hex kit. Mishnaki here with 98, that's going to come from Hex and just him doing damage, HP burns, and then Crowcat here doing the heavy lifting. We can do one more just for consistency's sake. All right, 519. He's doing 46. So he's doing a little bit less, but he's enabling more damage from the Crowcad. I mean, that's going to be his probably best role. He can chip in a little bit of damage for Hydra, but he's not going to be the main damage dealing champion. I think for a dedicated Hydra champion, you could maybe use Xenomorph in a 9-piece Feral set. That would be pretty interesting since he lands those debuffs and poisons. He's going to be adding more of a boost to whoever is on your team actually dealing damage. But that's not going to be his main spot here, so that's all good. Lastly, we'll try him out in my Titus team for Clan Boss just to see what kind of damage he can do over a long fight. I did turn off his A2, so he's just using his A1 and his A3. His A3 is going to scale up with the poisons, and of course, poison's going to do pretty good damage against the Clan Boss. So he's doing 212 million damage, which is pretty good. Obviously, very easy. One key here. Let's compare him to somebody, somebody just not Titus. All right, so we're going to bring out the Geomancer here. Let's see how much damage he does compared to Geomancer. Would be interesting to see. I think Geomancer should do more, but let's see here. 64. Let's check if something went wrong. All right, some of the damage numbers here for Geo. We did 200 million here, only on 199 turns, unfortunately. I think I'm missing some gear on the champions, but I don't want to fix any of the builds here. just so we have a comparable against the Xenomorph. Let's see, this one, it might go the distance. I don't know, 415. This one goes the distance, 415. And yeah, Geomancer doing 207 million. So roughly, I'd say roughly in line with the Xenomorph, which is pretty cool. That's cool to see. I mean, poisons versus the HP burns, usually don't really compare. The HP burn from Geomancer is so strong, but and then lastly, we'll just use Titus here. I did have to set up the AI's presets and stuff, so just check out the overall damage here. Obviously, Titus is going to do way more damage. So 2.1, he's doing 3.3 billion. So not really comparable to Titus, but you know what? Xenomorph in terms of overall damage in this type of team with that build, specifically, not even specific to Clan Boss, was doing pretty good. You know, basically similar to what Geomancer would do. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Just a quick kind of showcase just to see what he can do in terms of his potential. This is by no means optimized or anything like that. I'm going to be putting out some more content on the Xenomorph, I think, in the next couple of days as we start getting our hands on him in real live servers. General first impressions here, I think he's great. I think he's amazing. He has very balanced kit, and I think it works really well for just, you know, thematically it works well, and I think in general it works well, and I think it's going to be a very good champion for early and mid-game progressed accounts. Now for the end game accounts, I think he's probably going to slot in somewhere for faction wars, obviously, and I think the infest cascading damage actually is quite unique, so it might find a place somewhere in the game eventually. Maybe not right now, but once people start getting more testing in, this might actually be something that really gives him a lot of value. His A1, like I said, is absolutely incredible. And I think in general, his kit works really, really well. Anyways, guys, stay tuned for more content on the Xenomorph in the upcoming days or so. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the Xenomorph so far from what you guys have seen. Are you guys excited for him? How will you use him? What will you build him in? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching until the end. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.